I'm here in Bender Park on the Lake Michigan shoreline in Oak Creek. It's one of more than 150 properties in Milwaukee County, totaling more than 15,000 acres open to public recreation. Bender Park itself covers 300 acres and has a boat launch, a beach, hiking trails, a reservable picnic area, and several overlooks with great views of Lake Michigan. In just a few minutes, Elizabeth Cramer goes dog sledding in Bayfield County with Wolfsong Adventures. And then Jeff Kelm looks at some new technology that's revolutionizing ice fishing. But first, we'll learn how to make a wing-bone turkey call with Wisconsin Turkey Commander Loren Voss. I'm Dan Small, and it's time once again for Outdoor Wisconsin.
Summer to fall, winter to spring, from Green Bay to where the St. Croix sings, from Kelm to Superior Shore. Outdoor Wisconsin, outdoor Wisconsin.
Turkey hunters use a variety of devices to imitate the sounds of a wild turkey. Perhaps the most primitive turkey call is one like this. It's made from the actual wild turkey wing bones. The call was made for me by Wisconsin Turkey Commander Loren Voss. We visited Loren at his home in Fond du Lac to learn how he does it. That's pretty realistic.
Yeah, there's a few birds that listen to it and met their maker from it.
Now, you didn't get the idea yourself, did you?
No, this is an old Indian call that's been around for years, and a lot of people make them, and I thought it'd really be sharp to have a call out of my own bird, which I've made hundreds of them, but I also make them for a lot of my first-time hunters. You know, now they get a call out of their first bird.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, where do you think Native Americans came up with the idea? How did they?
Well, what I thought is Native Americans like bone marrow, okay? And this fine bone, of course, had marrow in it.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there one day and they sort of sucking the marrow out. Oh, that sounds like a turkey. Oh. I'll make a call out of it. And I think that's how it happened.
Yeah, well, you probably are right. Well, will you show us how to make one?
Sure, sounds good.
Where do we go, upstairs for that?
Upstairs, yep, to the making room.
Okay. So these are the bones that you work with?
Yes, and these, I've already taken them out, of course, and these are cut, but basically this is the large bone. That's the one that's right next to the body, and then the next section of bone actually has two of them. It's got a fine bone and a thicker bone. It's just like a chicken. You know, like when you're eating chicken wings, this is the one with the two bones, and that's the one with the one bone.
Okay.
So, and these are already, you know, this hide is prepared for a decoy later on. But that's how the bones are. We actually don't use the wingtip, but you do have to be a little careful when you take them apart because you don't want to break this. You always cut these bones out. You don't take them apart because you need this flat side because that's the actual side that you put your lip on, and you're sucking in. You're not blowing out. You're sucking in. So, but those are the bones out of the bird.
Okay, and then what's the next step?
Well, the next step after we have the bones out is you go to the kitchen.
So these are bones that you just took out of a turkey wing.
Right. You know, I did cut the ends off. Okay, and these are all ready. Now, you know, you see there's meat on them.
Right.
Okay. And basically, the next step goes into boiling water. Okay, they've been boiling about 10 minutes now. So we're gonna grab the bones, take them out, put them here. There's the bones. You can see that the meat is starting to come off. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the next step is, okay, we're scraping, getting the meat off. It's done good enough for the first time. I'm going to open it up and trying to get the inside of the bone so it can start getting water in, hot water, of course, so I can start getting the marrow out. And one of my patented tools is a coat hanger, but it is sharpened on the end, so it's almost like a little drill, and you use that to actually push through the bone and clean out some of the marrow. Okay? There it goes. And it comes all the way through.
Oh, sure.
Then the next bone, okay?
Same process.
Yeah, same process. So now we take the 3 bones back in the pot for the next boil.
All right. And how long?
About 10 minutes every time.
Okay.
About 3 boils. So
Very good.
these been boiling about 10 minutes again. We're gonna get them out, and you see the bones.
They're pretty clean.
Yeah, they look pretty good. Yeah, but if you look at them, these bones aren't you know, they're dark and they don't look that what I call nice, and I want to get them nice and white. So now the next step is we put them in the hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
Okay. Make sure if you see this one's not quite covered, you just add enough to make sure that you see that it's over the top of the bone.
Okay.
Okay. And that's going to sit in there about 2 days.
Wow. Okay.
And during the 2 days, I will take them out. You know, I'll take a brush to them and clean them up, but they'll turn white, and they look a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Now we are going to take them. We're going to fit them so they go inside of each other. So you go like this. Oh, this one fits actually fairly decent. So I don't have to do much. This one, very seldom do they fit. There's always a little bit of fitting, and you don't ever want to push them because now these bones are crystallized, and when you push them, you're going to break them. So you want to. It's a little bit at a time, and you don't want to take too much off because then they'll be loose. There. Now it's assembled, and it's fairly good, but you know, we will be epoxying it. You can see that there's gaps though in there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking cotton, and I will take a piece of cotton, a little toothpick, and I'll actually shove the cotton down in that hole. Okay? That way the epoxy doesn't run down the hole. We get the cotton's nice and tight in there, and it's pretty tight, but it's still, they'll fall apart. Most of them don't get this tight. We're lucking out, actually. So we'll take the 2 epoxies, mix the epoxy, and I actually take the toothpick and I like roll a drop, and put it on the caul, and I put it high because it's going to come down, and it's going to flow down. If you have an air leak, of course the caul doesn't work as good.
Right.
So you have to make sure that you get epoxy that goes all the way. I leave it sit for about 24 hours. And we're pretty good.
All right. Now you let it dry.
Let it dry.
Looks like the epoxy's dry now.
Now we take the file, and start filing the excess epoxy off.
All right. Once that's done, what's the next step then?
The next step is the lanyard,
Okay.
so we can carry it. I have a lanyard, leather. This is shrink wrap that you use for like electrical fittings. And I slide that on. I have a little eyelet, and then I push that lanyard into the eyelet. Now I have a nice little loop.
Sure. Okay.
Put it through there, and I take the eyelet and I put it as tight as I can get it. I push this push it on there. Then I take match, heat it, and it'll tighten right on to the lanyard. Now we have a turkey call.
All right.
This is the most exciting part of it, is every one of these calls sound different. None of them sound the same.
Pretty convincing.
I think it could do its job.
I think we ought to put it to the test, take it hunting.
Sounds good.
The trails here at Bender Park are open year-round for hiking, biking, and dog walking. For a little more exercise, you might try dog sledding. On her trip to Bayfield County last winter, Elizabeth Cramer spent a day dog sledding with Wolfsong Adventures in Mushing.
I've had sled dogs since I was 12. It's cool. Our kennel has 35 dogs, and these are all Siberian Huskies. They're actually a purebred. So these are actually a racing line of Siberians. And so they're called Sepala Siberian. They're a little leaner, shorter legged. They're meant for running fast. So this is Sparky, Sparkler. We name in themes. And that's Kingsbury. That's actually, it's a cheap beer litter. So we've got dogs like Blatz and Schlitz and Hams.
That's
and
great. So tell me a little bit about how they do with the temperatures.
Oh, they love it. This is prime. I think they're probably more excited for this next week than any of us are.
Really?
It's supposed to be sub-zero, and they run harder and faster during that.
Really?
Because they actually, underneath here is a really thick undercoat. And so it's super thick, and in the summertime it comes off in chunks.
Okay.
So that they can cool down in the summer. And then over the top, this is called guard hairs. And so that kind of protects them from snow, and if it's sleeting ever, and it traps in that warmth. And dogs don't sweat like humans do, so they only lose heat through their ears. That's why their ears are small, and through the pads of their feet. And so you'll see them, and panting of course, but you'll even see on a day like today, some of them when we stop, as we're out there running, once they've heated up, they'll jump in the snow and roll around. The key to dog sledding is you want to make sure that the dogs know that you're going to keep them safe out there. And the way you do that is by watching these lines and making sure that they're holding out nice and tight. If they start to droop like this, that means your sled's moving faster than the dogs can run at that point, and it makes them feel a little nervous. When they lean into their harness, they want to feel resistance. When they have this happening, they're not feeling that resistance, and they're worried that sled might come up and get close to them or hit them. In the very beginning, the dogs are going to be really amped to run, okay?
Okay.
And the way that you need to add resistance is this. This is called the drag.
Okay.
It's just a piece of snowmobile track with spikes in it. The dogs, they actually enjoy going faster on corners. They'll reach a corner and it's like, ooh, what's around here? I want to see it. Yeah. So they'll pick up speed and they'll round that corner. As you're going around a corner, drop a foot down to the drag. If you find that your sled is still kicking out, push down even harder. Okay. And then your sled is going to follow the team. Every morning I make the teams up, and they don't always run in the same pairs. The things I look for is certain dogs will lead, certain dogs don't like to be out front leading. But this is going to be your team, so you're going to have Tammy Wynette, Jeannie, Kingsbury, and Prudence on your team. And I'm going to help you point those out, and we'll go hook them up.
Okay.
Grab them by their collar. You're not hurting them, but you're going to put them back into two-wheel drive.
Okay.
If you try to walk them like this, especially the bigger males, are going to pull you down. So you have to ditch the musher mitts now.
Okay.
So why don't you go ahead? I'll let you do her. And you just hop her right over. You can put her right next to your hip.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then come on over this way. So red line goes on the collar. And then this you can clip right into those white loops on the back of her harness, into both of them. Perfect. And then we pull her out like this, and I tell her to line out. Line out now, Tam. All right, she should stay there pretty well.
This is outdoor Wisconsin. Maybe, yeah. Okay. On the brake, okay.
You've got it! We'll tell you how to learn more about Wolfsong Adventures later in the show. Right now, let's talk about another winter sport, ice fishing. It's a pretty simple activity. You Drill a few holes in the ice, drop a line, and if you know what you're doing, or if you're lucky, you catch a fish. But ice fishing has come a long way from the days of sitting on an overturned 5-gallon bucket with a jigging stick. A number of high-tech innovations in just the last few years have made a big difference in the sport. The battery-powered ice auger is one of them, and the miniature underwater camera is another. Last February, Jeff Kelm looked at some additional new ice fishing tools when he joined some anglers on the ice just up the lake from here at Milwaukee Harbor.
There's all kinds of ice fishing tech out there these days, and I'm here with Greg from Vulture Systems, and you've got this indicator, bite indication. How do you classify what you hold in your hands right now?
I classify it as a long-range two-way sensors that guys use for a lot of different applications like tip-ups, tip-downs, rattle reels, trapping, bank fishing. So it's kind of a multi-use sensor.
Now, Greg, why would you need something like this? Why would you employ something like this in a smaller harbor like this?
A lot of it is just to get there quickly, especially when you got autos like this. You need to get to that rod right away or that fish is gone. I do a lot of catch and release, and I want to get there quick. I want to get that fish off and back in the hole as fast as I can.
All right. Good job, buddy.
How does this whole system work? How does everything, what can people expect when they go to set it up?
Yeah, so what we got here is we already have an auto set up. And Al's going to go ahead here and just show you how easy it is to kind of activate the Vulture sensor. So he sticks the magnet on, you're going to see it flash green there, which means he's armed and ready to go. And all you do is hook it on, in this case, like an eyelet, so that as soon as that rod sets, it's going to pull that magnet off and send that long-range notification to your handheld. When the fish comes, the rod's going to flip up, and then magnet's going to pull off, and you'll get that notification right away, which you just got right there. So it's a way to quickly get to your fish and stuff like that, and guys use them for trapping and whatnot as well.
The light is on there and things like that, so
Yep.
It not only will indicate it on your beacon or on your alarm that you carry with you, but you can see which unit it is visually.
Exactly, yep, which is really nice. I mean, that light is extremely bright at night. You can easily see it quarter mile away sitting on the ice.
The unit itself has got some other features to it too.
Being a two-way device, I can check the status of them. So if I push my button here, you're gonna see he flashes, and I can be in my shack and just see that little green light here, so I know a message went one way and back, so I'm in range and I know he's good to go.
Okay. And then that white light, good for some other stuff.
Yep. If I hold the button down here, it's nice for finding your tip-up setting height, and then it also acts as a nice light when you're, you can leave it on all night long just to mark your hole. Snowmobiles don't run it over, so it's a nice feature.
Makes sense. It's incredible where we've come from, right?
Yep.
I remember having to try to keep a candle lit and a box tip up,
Yeah.
so I could kind of see what I was doing.
Exactly.
So very, very cool. Well, we'll continue to use these out here and see if they can't, tell us what's going on, because we got these tip ups spread quite a ways apart.
We do.
How far will this actually go? How can you? how
It
far
goes
can
up
you
to a
see?
mile.
Very cool. Very
So-
cool. Some of the other ice fishing technology we've seen here in the harbor today is this battery-operated automatic hook setting device. I mean, this thing just about does everything for you, doesn't it, Rob?
Well, it doesn't reel them in.
But you got this jigging jaw jacker. Explain to me how this gets set up and how this is working for you.
The jigging jaw jacker works like any other jaw jacker, except obviously it's got this added jigging base on the bottom. It clips on really easy. I've got my depth already set here, and I'm going to use a little cast spoon on there. And we drop our line down. And it's very easy to set. You just need a little tag on the end of your pole and tuck it down and tuck it over. All that needs to happen is the fish will come and bite and set the hook. But the really neat thing about this here
The secret to the whole deal, right?
is that it's gonna jig itself.
It's got a wheel back here that goes around and jigs the rod.
And as the cam spins, it's got different lobes up and down that lift it and drop it, and they make different cams. These are they're called the big jig wheel and the wiggle wheel, and it gives the bait a little bit different cadence,
Yeah.
a little bit different of a jig.
So you can use that for your dead bait, live bait. I mean, what other stuff are you running on here?
I like to run jigging wraps, spoons. I think work really well on them. Even if you just have a minnow, a lot of times you see guys go and check their minnows after time. This is going to move your minnow all day long.
Well, that's awesome, Rob. Thank you very much for showing us. Again, just another opportunity to use the technology at hand to improve your ice fishing experience.
Yep, yeah, it's fun too.
There are only a few acres of wetlands here at Bender Park, but about 70 miles northwest of here, Horicon Marsh is the largest cattail marsh east of the Mississippi. Brian Mookie grew up hunting, fishing, and trapping the marsh, and he knows it well. We caught up with Brian at the site of his family's homestead, which now lies in the Horicon National Wildlife Refuge. Tell me about your personal history here on the marsh, hunting and fishing and growing up here.
Like many outdoorsmen and sportsmen and women in the Midwest, and particularly in Wisconsin, a lot of us have family traditions of hunting and fishing and being in the outdoors. And one of the things that really makes that special is you can go back to those areas and get close to those memories. And in my case, it's the Horicon Marsh. We're here at the foundation of my family's homestead where my grandfather grew up. He was born in 1905, and this is where he basically first hunted and lived, and the Horicon Marsh was his backyard. So as a young boy growing up, I heard many stories sitting at his feet. Really planted a seed for me that adventure to be had was in the outdoors, and as soon as I was old enough, I couldn't wait to get out in the Horicon Marsh. When I'm hunting and fishing, something that's important to me is to be able to escape, kind of escape from the noise of the everyday, the distractions. In big wildlife areas, big areas like the Horicon Marsh allow me to do that. When you get out and in between the cattails, you're far away. You can get lost, but lost in a good way. And when I'm out here on the marsh, you never know what you're going to see. My first experience duck hunting was actually not too far away from here on the Rock River, adjacent to the Horicon Marsh. The Horicon Marsh is actually cut by the Rock River. These are out near the headwaters of the Rock River. And my first duck hunting experience was actually with my uncles and my father. And as you can imagine, part of the hunting experience is getting guyed a little bit, getting teased a little bit. I still remember it. My dad went with my cousin, and my uncle went with me. We both kind of swapped out mentoring a little bit. My uncle stood behind me, and I still remember that first mallard coming in overhead. I raised up, and bang, I shot, and it tumbled down. Well, my uncle, being a good mentor, had simultaneously squeezed his trigger as well. But he was sure to pat me on the back and make sure that I knew that I shot that duck. So that type of mentoring is something that I'll always appreciate. And that's something that I want to carry on to the next generation and to youth hunters, novice hunters, continue that tradition and that type of mentorship in the outdoors.
Talk about your relationship with the Education and Visitor Center.
I've been coming up to the Horicon Marsh for quite a while as a hunter. And over the years, had stopped in at the Visitors and Education Center, and over time got involved with that organization, and for many years was a board member. In that organization, their role is to really support the DNR in education activities and volunteering at the Visitors Center to educate visitors that come into the marsh, talk to them about the marsh, and really help them to enhance their experience, giving them maps and so forth to come out and enjoy and experience the Horicon Marsh for themselves. So fantastic organization that I've been a part of. I'm no longer a board member, but I still support them and am also a member of the organization.
To learn more about this week's features, log on to MilwaukeePBS.org and search local programs for Outdoor Wisconsin, or visit the Milwaukee PBS Facebook page. Well, next time, Elizabeth Cramer heads back up north to join a group of women for an ice fishing outing on Lake Superior. We'll attend the Midwest Outdoor Heritage Education Expo, an annual event that introduces kids to a variety of outdoor activities. And I'll get a sea kayaking lesson from instructor Dick Silberman. Saying goodbye from Bender Park in Oak Creek, I'm Dan Small. Join us again next week for Outdoor Wisconsin.
Flash of a whitetail moving through the pine. Long vowl of the owl in the evening. Loon on the lake, a muskie on the line. Outdoor Wisconsin. Free yourself like an eagle in the air. Feed yourself like a bear in the blackberry, like a hawk. Perch and stare. Outdoor Wisconsin. When the work in life is way too much, you're in too deep, way out of touch. Lace up your boots, get out of town. A walk in the wild, or sit down and listen. Listen to the sounds of the critters of the night, to the wind and the leaves and the little river run. Coyote brother howling in the moonlight. Outdoor Wisconsin. Hike, fish, hunt, camp, sail, canoe. Ski, photograph, laugh, do what you want to. Stick your nose where the wild rose grows. Outdoor Wisconsin. Outdoor Wisconsin.